The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of At the Heart of Business, a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. I'm your host, Judith Tate, and my first guest today is Jacqueline Francis of Inner Expansion, Inc. Welcome,
Hi.
Jacqueline.
How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And you look lovely.
I appreciate it, thank you.
So tell us about Inner Expansion, Inc.
Yeah, so it came to me when I was going through my coaching practice, and I thought, what an incredible name to start a business, because we do all expand from within. Mm-hmm. Change happens from within, and that's how I got the name for my business.
Okay. So tell us a bit about why you started. Let's dive deep into your why. Why is this business important to you?
It changed my life.
Yeah.
There was a part of what I went through that I was able to almost rediscover who I was. And the changes that I experienced forced me to want to help other women and people, to help them see themselves, help them to understand who they are. We all have these limiting beliefs. We all have things about ourselves that we don't love. And when we focus on that, it creates everything outside of us. Yeah. So for me, when I was going through things in my life, I had to change who I was from within. Yeah. And if I can help someone else be able to shift that, then I've done my part, and they get to go and share that with other people, and they grow into their fullest potential.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I believe that we will create a business or something out of our mess, our mission, or our moment.
It was a mess.
Was it a mess?
It was a mess.
Tell us about that.
Yes.
That mess.
I had gotten into a bit of a situation where it really expanded who I was, and I had to look at some of my habits. I had to look at the circle of friends around me and really try to understand, was this supposed to be where my life is going? Because if I didn't make a change at that time, I would not have known where I would have landed. And sometimes it's that awakening of who we think we are that allows us to become who we truly are.
I love it. And, I really identify with what you just said, looking at the people around you, your circle, because recently I've been on a very similar journey, looking at my results and am I happy with my results? What things do I need to change in order to get the results that I want? So that really caused me to start looking at who is my inner circle, where I'm spending my time, who I'm spending my time with. So tell us how important that is to our growth as an individual or even for our businesses.
Yeah, well, have you heard the saying that you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so important, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're not around people that are helping you to look at where you want to go or be in rooms that are inspiring you, you're really going to stay the same. I mean, you love those dear friends that you've known forever, but sometimes it is wanting more than just that circle. Because sometimes when we're in these comfy and cozy groups, we tend to remain the same. We tend to never look outside of ourselves because we get so used to that comfort. Yeah. And when we start to surround ourselves with people that are doing the things that we want to do, it changes everything for us, right? It gives us hope, it gives us possibility. Yeah. It allows us to see where we can go, where we can grow.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's 100% truth. Tell us about self-image. What can you tell us about that?
Oh my gosh. So that is the core of my entire work.
Okay.
Self-image is the way that you see yourself. It is your beliefs. It is your identity. And really, it is everything about you and how you think that you want to show up in this world. And our self-image is really crafted from our experiences, from our childhood, and for everything that we've been through. And when you start to look at self-image, you start to look at what things in your life that you may not want to hold on to anymore. And you can shift that because our identity isn't solid, it isn't fixed. Because I think there was this belief once that, that saying, oh, you can never teach a dog new tricks. It's not true because you totally can if you're willing to change and look inside yourself.
Okay. What about, say there's someone who's really stuck in their current image
Yeah.
of themselves and they just can't seem to move past it. Any experiences that they're feeling, whether it's personally, friends, family, business related, how do you help people to move past that, to see themselves in a new way?
So we'll first start off with identifying what it is that's allowing them to feel that way, right? Look, because self-image is not just the image of yourself. It is much deeper, right? It's much deeper. It's at your core. So it's all of these things that compile into this identity that you hold about yourself. So if you're feeling like you're not good enough, or this person in this relationship that I'm with doesn't make me feel valued, you're walking out into the world with a sense of not feeling valued, not feeling seen, not feeling good enough. So we start to identify what those beliefs are for you, because everybody has different ways of how they see themselves. And then we start to peel back those layers and say, where did that come from? How do you want to see yourself? And what can you do today to start being that person? So we can create a new, positive, and empowered self-image of who you are.
Okay. And how is that, like when you create that new self-image, how does that impact all the other areas
Oh my gosh.
of life?
Because sometimes like you have the one thing, and when you start to identify that one thing, it transfers into all other different areas of your life, right?
Yeah.
So when you start to show up more confident, you start to show up feeling really good about yourself, feeling like you're enough and worthy, then everything around you starts to shift.
Yeah.
Your relationships, how you show up in your career, how you show up in life general starts to shift,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And that's incredible.
Yeah, I can just picture that. That's really good. I've never worked with a coach who does specifically, what you do.
Yeah.
But how would someone know that you're the type of coach that they need? What would they be searching for? Or even if they went online, like what would they be searching for?
Well, mindset,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people don't understand the idea of what self-image is. And because they don't understand it, they never think that they would need it, right? Because it's
Yes.
something that it's at the core of us, and you always come in with like a different, like an issue almost on like a surface level.
Yeah.
And when someone thinks about working with me, think about like if you are feeling stuck, if you're feeling like you're in a place that you can do better, but you just need that push to get there, because you alone are not going to see your blind spots, right?
Yes, that's right.
And we all need someone to help us see those blind spots,
yeah.
right?
Okay, so how do you define blind spots? That's really good. That's so important.
Yeah. So when you're coming from a place of like, I'm not feeling good enough, you're thinking, maybe I need to change the job. Maybe I need to get out of the relationship. Maybe I need to do something external that's going to make me feel good, right? But working with me will help you to see sometimes it's the things that we are doing daily. It's the talk that we have with ourselves.
Yeah.
It's what's going through our mind.
Yeah.
It's are we moving our body? Something as simple as that can make a huge shift in your life. And I can start to see things that sometimes you do not see. I'm at the point now when I'm having conversation with clients, I can almost tell, I could hear it in their talk. I can feel it through their energy and how they sit, how they look at me with eye contact or not.
Yeah.
That, you know what, when we work together, you're going to experience an incredible shift in your life.
Wow. Have you ever had any major challenges with any clients that you just weren't able to help them get that breakthrough? Or
You know what? Everybody comes in thinking that they need something, and then sometimes it's not even the one thing, right? You come in thinking that you might need to lose weight or change your relationship, but then you end up realizing it's much deeper than that. So everybody gets the shifts that they need and the transformation in specific areas that are specific to them. So I don't think anybody leaves without feeling a change of perspective or just shifting their mindset on how they can view the world in just a different way and themselves.
yeah. Okay, I love it. So, as far as your business goes, what challenges have you faced in building this business and creating the what you want for your business?
So it's all of the things that I'm doing on my own right now, right? When
Yeah.
you start a business, you are the one person
Yeah.
that is divided into all these other different areas, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
So right now, it is getting a understanding of, where can I leverage my time? Where can I leverage the things that I may not want to do to other people that are really good at doing those things, that we are both growing together, and how we can collaborate to build a business that not only supports me, but them as well in their skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as far as working with your clients, like giving them exercises to do on a
Yeah.
daily basis, what kind of things would you do with them?
Definitely scripting. Okay. So if you don't know what scripting is, it's really writing out what your self-image is, writing out the kind of person that you want to be. So you're looking at qualities that you admire in somebody else and saying, I would love to show up that way.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to, speak really confidently on stage or host a show like this, right? What does that look like for you? And we would start scripting, doing some forgiveness work. A lot of times it's so easy for us to forgive other people, but we never forgive ourselves,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It can be challenging for some people to face because they've never experienced that. But when you look within, you really can. Mirror work. Can you face yourself in the mirror?
Okay.
Can you look at who you are and tell yourself that you love yourself? Right?
Okay.
Because when do you do that in your life? We're so busy being on the go all the time that we don't have time to just stay still and get quiet.
Oh, geez, that you're you're really speaking to me here, because it's so important, like being quiet.
Yeah.
Because we're so busy.
Yeah.
And there's so many distractions.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, and it's so important just to get that quiet time and just
Yeah.
be still and listen.
Be still, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's when our inner voice starts to show up. And we dismiss it every time we go from the next thing to the next thing. I mean, being
Yeah.
a mom, being a wife, being a business owner, or working in a job, you're literally waking up and just going
Yes.
until
Go,
you
go.
close your eyes on the pillow, right?
Yeah.
So taking time for yourself is so important. Self-care, right?
Yeah. All right. So, what words of advice do you have for someone, just starting out a business?
Do it. Stand in your power. Know your why.
Yes.
Do not listen to what other people have to say, because that idea that was given to you is yours to cultivate and grow,
Right.
right?
I love
Because
it.
not everyone is going to see your vision except for you. That's what was given to you.
Yeah.
Be authentic. Show up as yourself, because that is the only way to be. You can't be someone else.
Yeah.
So that is what I would tell people.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, love it. Great words of wisdom, great conversation.
Oh, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. And stay tuned. We'll be up next with Michaela on At the Heart of Business.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
You volunteered to direct the Christmas pageant?
It's going to be the best Christmas pageant ever.
We're gonna be in your Bible play.
Herdman's in church.
I thought you might be interested in one of my stops.
You never told me you visited the Herdmans.
Christmas comes for everyone.
Deep down, those kids might just have good instincts.
Don't touch him! I smell smoke.
I said deep down.
The best Christmas pageant ever.
Rogers TV.
Welcome back to At the Heart of Business, a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. I'm your host, Judith Tate, and our next guest is Michaela Gregory. She works at Advanced Women's Health Clinic, a new clinic that just opened up in Brooklyn, right?
Yes, so
Great.
I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I work for the group of clinics Advanced Women's Health.
Yeah.
And essentially what we're doing is bringing revolutionary evidence-based healthcare to women across Canada. So when I first joined Advanced Women's Health, it was 4 years ago in November of 2020. We were just based out of Kingston, and it was the owner, Dr. Sarah Wilson, and myself were the two naturopaths. And fast forward to today, we have 9 locations across Canada with over 20 naturopaths working for them. And so, yeah, we just opened up the newest location that I'm going to be working at, which is the Durham Region location in Brooklyn. So we're super excited about that.
Okay, well, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So, in our conversation before, you were saying that you had your practice at multiple locations before?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
So,
what was that like?
Very difficult.
Yeah.
I think when I originally decided to become a naturopath, I had no idea how entrepreneurial I would have to be. And so I graduated, and I remember thinking, I have no idea what I'm doing. And oh my goodness, I have to learn how to run a business to do the job I set out to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, success had always been so defined for me before then, right?
Yeah.
Going through school, it's like you study, you write exams, you get a passing mark, and that was success, right? And all of a sudden I was like, I don't know what success means. I don't know how to define this for myself. And so what I did was I looked towards what a lot of other people were doing, right?
Oh,
and so I was like, okay, what are other entrepreneurs doing? What are other naturopaths doing? And the downside of that for myself was that I didn't use my own strengths, my own weaknesses. I didn't look towards my own values, and I let other people sort of define what success was going to be. And so I did what I knew how to do, which was work really hard, and I thought I was going to be successful. And so I joined my first clinic. This was in December of 2019. So I think the pandemic did kind of impact things as well, right?
Yeah.
But even though I knew it wasn't necessarily the right fit for me, I continued to push through. And I had this vision of being a successful naturopath meant I had to have a really full schedule.
Yeah.
And there's definitely some truth to that. But instead of moving away from something that didn't really align with myself, I decided to just add more. And so it was 1 clinic, and then it was 2 clinics, and then it was 3, and then it was 4. And in my first 12 months of practice, I was working at 5 different clinics.
Oh, wow.
Which was exhausting, like 5 schedules, 5 different processes and systems and stuff like that. And it really wasn't until I learned a little bit more about myself and was like, I need to find something that aligns with what works for me, and I need to find the people who want to do business the way that I like to do it, right? And I think there was, you know, instead of being an entrepreneur in a way that other people were doing it, I could define what that looked like for myself and define what success looked like for myself. And so it took very long. I've been in practice for 5 years now, and I just narrowed down to 1 clinic. But it's so exciting because I really feel like at Advanced Women's Health, I'm at a clinic where I feel so supported. It aligns with my values. I'm being an entrepreneur in a way that feels really, really good for me. And I'm just really excited to put all my energy into one place instead of spreading it thin and getting nowhere.
Yeah. You know, I really, you said a whole bunch of stuff there that's just like, we're going to try and unpack it. We only have a limited amount of time, but wow, like, you talked about your definition of success, and you were looking to see what other people were doing, and that didn't work for you, right? Because you had to figure out what it was, like what success looked like for you. How important is that when you're starting, like for anyone starting a business, how important is that for them to figure out what that is before they start?
I think there's a couple things to that. I think there's definitely value in looking at what other people are doing, but I think we can very easily get lost in the world that we live in today, knowing what we actually want versus knowing what we think we should want. And I know that I really struggle with that. And so I think we can do ourselves a service by looking towards other people and having mentors, but we can also do ourselves a disservice if we're not doing it in a right way and checking in with ourselves. And so I think part of it is also making mistakes, right? It's like I wouldn't have ended up where I am now if I didn't go through all that, right? And, you know, had I known it sooner, would it have changed my journey? It's so hard to know, right? But I think it is really important to have people who can mentor you through those types of things and hold you accountable to realizing what your values are, realizing what your goals are and what your strengths and your weaknesses are, so that you can use that to your advantage to find a place or, you know, create your own space that really aligns with how you work and what's going to make you successful.
What about having your own set of core values and your mission and your vision? Like, do you have those for you personally and for your business?
Definitely. So, I mean, Advanced Women's Health, our mission is that no woman goes unseen or unheard on her pursuit of health.
Oh,
and
I love it.
It's simple. That's what we do, right? And so in that, we are, you know, doing comprehensive investigations. We are less focused on symptoms and more focused on why are they there and what's going on underneath it all, and how do we connect the dots and create really effective healthcare plans. And I really align with that, right? I really find that there is such a gap in the knowledge around women's health. There is a lack of focus on the lifestyle medicine within our healthcare system, and so those things were always very important to me, right? It was so funny when I started working for Advanced Women's Health, the owner, she made me do a values worksheet. She said, here's a bunch of sheet of values and pick your top 3.
Wow.
It took me probably 4 weeks to get this sheet back to her because I was like, I don't know. I've never thought about any of these things before. I never thought about who I was as a person, because in school, your expectations from start to finish are laid out for you, and you graduate and you're starting a business and you're like, what framework do I fit in anymore? And we had to do personality assessments as part of this too, and that was really kickstarted my journey into understanding more about how I worked and what made me feel excited and where I needed support in life and in business, and that's been a really big game changer.
I really like that. So that the clinic actually put you through like these tests, and that's really, really important, because that really shows they care about their business and they care about their patients or their clients.
100%.
And they're not just hiring anybody.
No, I think we all did it. I know I was kind of the first naturopath, and I remember thinking, like, what is this? I didn't really know how it was going to come full circle, right? And I don't even think I knew, because like Dr. Sarah Wilson, she mentored me quite heavily through those early years, and I didn't really know how it was all going to come together. And it's funny how it's been, 5 years, and I'm like, aha, this is how it's all coming together. Right? Is like she was able to understand more about me and be like, hey, this is how you're going to excel. This is how you work. And I didn't have to have all the pressure on me to do it myself, which was how I realized that's how I worked. I wanted to be a part of a team. I didn't want to be the big clinic leader. I just wanted to deliver healthcare to women. I wanted to work with people. I wanted to have support. I wanted to have mentors. And I think allowing myself that realization was like huge, right?
I really like that. That's really important, because a lot of times when people go into business, they don't realize it's like you're everything. You're everything in that business. Like, you're the admin person, you're the social media person, you're the marketing person, you're the person delivering the services, seeing the, the patients or clients. It's a lot. And and I don't it's definitely not for the faint of heart. No,
I feel myself getting like worked up. You listen to those, I'm like, oh yes, it is so much work.
It's a lot, but good for you. I'm so happy to hear that you recognize that that's not what you want. And you want to be a part of a team, because again, like being in business, like it can be lonely if you're on your own. Like, you eventually build a team, but when you're the one that's in charge of everything, it can be overwhelming. So good for you. And why did you want to become a naturopathic doctor?
So I have always been interested in the human body, and I just found it so fascinating how, accessible, simple things like exercise and nutrition can really impact the disease state of the body. And I became a spin instructor, fitness instructor, and I really liked being in the room. Like, I liked being with people during that journey. And I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but as I got older and I realized this gap in women's health and the knowledge around women's health and how oftentimes we get dismissed in the healthcare system, I think that was really what triggered me to continue to do this and to pursue women's health specifically when I graduated from naturopathic college. I always tell this story, and I joke around that I was in my mid-20s, I was sitting in a lecture hall, and I was learning about how the menstrual cycle worked. And I remember sitting there being like, I've been a menstruating female for 13 years, and I'm just learning this information about my body and how it works. And it felt very unfair to me. And since then, I've just been so driven to help women understand what's going on in their bodies, the changes that we go through throughout the phases of life, and then also being able to help them figure out the tools they need to feel better. Because when women feel better, right, we show up so much better.
Yes.
It's like show up like stronger as whatever roles we're playing, right? If we're business owners, if we're leaders, if we're teachers, if we're caregivers, if we're mothers, right? Like all of those roles we play, when we can feel good, we show up so much stronger, and I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, for sure. So what makes Advanced Women's Health different?
So there are two things that really stand out, at least to me, that I find very different. The first thing is the framework that we use to address our patient care. And so we kind of operate on the premise that there's 5 to 7 causes of disease. There are hundreds of symptoms and many diagnoses, but everything pairs down to 5 to 7 causes of disease. And when we use lab work to investigate those 5 to 7 causes, we're actually able to get very predictable, effective responses to treatment, right? Very personalized treatment. Just like businesses use data to drive decisions and track progress and stuff, lab work is our version of the data. And so when we discover where things are coming from, when we connect the dots for our patients, that's how we go about doing things. The second thing that really differs, that has been a really big game changer for me, is the collaboration. So our naturopaths meet every day of the week. We have a meeting every single day where we can talk about anything from challenging cases, our own expertise, insights, things that have worked well, things that haven't worked well, but then also the business side of things, right? We always joke around about half our meetings are just us giving each other the support we need to move forward with something we might feel scared about, right? Or we're talking about talks we did or events we're doing or what's worked, what hasn't worked, patient retention, all those types of things. And so the collaboration not only allows us to show up the best for our patients because we become better practitioners, but also like personally as well, right? And in business, and just really be the best practitioners we can be and be very well-rounded.
Oh, wow. So what words of advice would you have for someone starting their journey in business?
I think this is always my piece, is something called the idea of permission slips. And this was brought to me by a coach that I worked with while I was doing all of this work. And I believe it's an idea that Brene Brown brought up. And so it pertains to so many of those things that you're going to experience and hear and like have to overcome in business. And it's giving yourself the permission to do things, to fail, to grow, to adapt, to be scared, to make changes, to let go of things, to take on new things. And I think we so often think that by being hard on ourselves, we're going to be more successful, right? And oftentimes that's actually not the way to be more successful. That's the way to burn out. So having that compassion for yourself, giving yourselves permission to have that compassion, extend that compassion to yourself, is what really is going to make the difference.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
This is great. And congratulations and good luck.
Thank you so much. It was lovely chatting today.
Yes, for sure. And thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on another episode of At the Heart of Business.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Hello, I'm Liz Dowdswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. In 2008, carbon monoxide, a deadly invisible gas, killed an entire family in our province. That tragedy led to a new law